Yeah. On our way home. Man, it's been a busy morning. Been struggling a little bit with keeping my lashes on. I don't know what's going on. If you're new here, just FYI, I'm Martita. I'm a mom in my 40s, 43, looking real hot. No, just kidding. But been going through menopause and, helping moms figure out what they want to do with their lives, where they're going. And darn water bottles like going all over the place. So yeah, I'm a reinvention coach for moms in their 40s. Because being a mom is not the only thing there is to life. There's more to life. And being a mom is just like a first step. And I know I can relate with a lot of moms because I've been through this. But we get to that point in our life where it's like, okay, our kids are growing up, our kids are moving out, our kids are living their lives, and it's kind of like, who are we now? We've been moms longer than we've been by ourselves. And as far as like my journey, I was 16 when I came out pregnant, and I think back to like everything that I went through, and I'm like, dang, like I know a lot of people would be like, you know what, Martita, I was ugly. Everything you could have gone through or whatever the case is. But like when I actually pay attention to the emotions, the feelings, the hurt, the pain, the experience, I'm like, what lesson did I get out of it? And it's crazy. Like as moms, like we step forward and we do for our kids. Like we're in survival mode. We're living paycheck to paycheck. And you know what? Like that's doing the bare minimum. And it's crazy because like I tell moms, like we did the bare minimum and did just fine. Just imagine though if you end up doing just a little bit more and you actually find your peace, like your actual purpose. And because being a mom isn't just the only thing we're here for. We're here for more. We're here to serve others as well. And that's like where I come into play, because I get it. Like a lot of us don't have the proper tools, the proper schooling, the proper knowledge and resources, like on how we're going to get where we want to get in life. And I tell women this all the time, especially myself, because I'm guilty of this. We invest in our lashes, we invest in our nails, in our skincare, in our body, going to the gym. But like, what about our personal development? What about healing our traumas from our parents? I came from a very abusive home. My mom was and is a narcissist, and it wasn't until a couple of years ago I even realized that I was attracting the same kind of men that I was used to being raised by my mom. So, men who put me down, men who belittled me, like all these things, and it was what I was used to at home. So we don't realize that we parent and we get into these relationships based off of our traumas, and we don't pay attention. We're just like, nope, we're healed, we're getting away from them, that's it. That's not how it works. Like we actually have to sit with ourselves. Why are we looking for that? Why are we attracting that? Why do we feel like we deserve that? And what it boils down to is we've never really sat down and written a plan about our lives. We've never envisioned it. And throughout the years, I started my research on the law of attraction and metaphysics and just how life works. And I consumed myself, not only in flipping homes and buying rental properties and setting those up, but also in figuring out, like, who am I? What am I here to do? What am I here? Like, there's more to this. And through that experience, through building businesses, losing them, building others back up, and it's been great because I'm like, you can't fail at this. You can't. And it's about, everybody's success is different. Okay, you cannot measure your success with someone else and think it's going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Your purpose is different. You're here for something else. And I understand what it's like to feel lost, misguided, not having that support. And that's where I come into play. I help moms gather their thoughts, who they are, actually get in touch with themselves. And you know what? I heard this the other day. Someone was like, what makes you feel like you are certified or you're good enough to... I said, you know what? If you want someone certified with a degree who's never been through life, you can find them everywhere. But if you want someone who's been through life, who's experienced it, who has felt it, loss, grievance, divorce, miscarriages, ectopic pregnancies, going through menopause, perimenopause, raising teens, moms who've done it by themselves, who didn't feel that worth, who've been raped, molested, growing up in abusive homes. If you want someone who has experienced the real life shit, I'm here. But if you want someone who looks good on a piece of paper, but who's not going to be relatable, I can't. And I tell people, you want someone who's relatable, who's actually going to say, I've been there, let me help you? Or do you want someone who's going to say, I've never been there, but let me turn to page 35 and this is what my handbook says? No. And we need to learn to invest in ourselves. It's crazy to think that so many women are like, you know what, Martha, I don't want to pay for that. Why would you not want to pay for your growth? And here's the thing. If you fail at something that you pay, it's because you didn't put the effort into it. And a lot of people, they want that guarantee. Guarantee me that I'm going to be successful. You got to guarantee that for yourself. And I tell moms that all the time. You show up for your kids, but the moment you're asked to show up for yourself, you want some type of reassurance, some guarantee that you're not going to fail, that you're not going to fall. You can't even give that to yourselves, and we need to. And this is why I tell moms, like, hold yourselves accountable. You're fucking badasses. Like, if you think back to everything you've ever put yourself through, did you fail? You didn't fail. You didn't fail. You did just fine. And you're like, yeah, but I barely got out of it, Martha. That's because you saw yourself barely getting out of it. Everybody says, and they tell me all the time, Martha, I'm not where I want to be in life. And I ask them, where is that? And you know what they tell me? Oh, I don't know. Because you and I aren't going to the same destination. So where is it that you're supposed to be in life? Sit with yourself. Let's do this. Let's do the exercises. And people are like, that's not true. It is true. But you know what is a harder pill to swallow? The fact that we don't want to sit with ourselves. We don't want to do the work for ourselves. And we think we're victims. No, we create our own lives, mama. Just like we created us barely getting by as single moms and being badasses, we could do so much more. And that's the thing, we're not given the tools. School's not going to give you these tools. Okay? It's not going to be your mom either, because they haven't healed and they can only do so much. I get it. We want to shit on our parents and be like, you should have done better. You should have. You're right. But then that leaves us no room for growth. No room for change. No room for doing things differently and trying our own way. And it's like, we just want this solution. And then we want to be like, you know what? I did it better than my parents. It's not a competition. That's not what it is. It's about, hey, your parents planted a seed. Now what are you doing with it? Because we got to keep planting that seed for our kids. And they're going to keep growing and evolving. And we're going to be breaking, generational setbacks. I don't call them curses. They're setbacks. They're bullshit rules and cultures and beliefs that we were fed that will keep us back. That's it. Not karma, not just setbacks that we didn't know any better. Nobody gave us the tools to get through it. Alrighty. So, here's what I want. If I come across your feed, share this with someone. Just share it with anybody. We should be motivating moms. Okay, we should be motivating and empowering everybody to show up for themselves. Alrighty, but anyhow, be sure to subscribe. Alrighty, and keep following for more.